Vice President Kamala Harris has now condemned the demonstrators who voiced support for Hamas and burned an American flag near the U.S. Capitol to protest Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's address to the U.S. Congress, which took place on Wednesday. She has said, and I quote, "I condemn any individuals associating with the brutal terrorist organization Hamas, which has vowed to annihilate the state of Israel and kill Jews. Pro-Hamas graffiti and rhetoric is abhorrent, and we must not tolerate it in our nation. I condemn the burning of the American flag. The flag is a symbol of our highest ideals as a nation and represents the promise of America. It should never be desecrated in that way," is the statement coming in from Vice President Kamala Harris, who is now also close to be the Democratic nominee for the presidential race against Donald Trump after Joe Biden bowed out of the entire race. Kamala Harris making a very emphatic statement about the entire Israel-Hamas war, especially talking about the several groups that have been supporting Hamas in this entire conflict that has been raging for several months, protesting not just in front of the US Capitol, but on university campuses across the United States. Kamala Harris making it very clear that Hamas is an abhorrent terror organization, and to support Hamas is completely unacceptable. And in fact, it is completely unacceptable to burn the American flag while supporting a terrorist organization, making it very clear in this entire political debate surrounding the Israel-Hamas war. I'm joined by my colleague Akanksha Swaroop on the broadcast. So Akanksha, this is a very emphatic statement coming in from Kamala Harris now that she heads into the election campaign as well. She's been very unequivocal about the fact that she condemns Hamas and she stands with Israel, also condemning all the left groups which have been involved in the protest against Israel, especially in the US Capitol as well as campuses across the country. This kind of clarity coming in from the Democratic camp is very essential to its politicking surrounding this entire issue, given the fact that you could see that Biden was flip-flopping on this entire matter, but Kamala Harris making her stand extremely clear, as even Benjamin Netanyahu has told Congress that there will be total war against Hamas and the US and Israel should completely stand together in facing terror coming in from the Gaza Strip.
That the fact of the matter is that even Netanyahu was very convincing in his speech, which in fact received a standing ovation at the U.S. Congress yesterday. When he addressed that U.S. Congress, he went on to attack Iran, and he said that he also had a message for all of those pro-Palestinian protesters. He said that when the tyrants of Tehran, who hang gays from cranes, murder women for not covering their hair, are praising, promoting, even funding you, you have officially become Iran's useful idiots. So not only did he attack Hamas, he also attacked Iran for in fact backing Hamas. And the fact of the matter remains that President Biden, his entire campaign for presidency has been about a fight for democracy, for the rights, for human rights. Not to forget that even when he was passing the mantle on to Kamala Harris, he said that, this is about passing the torch over to the younger generation, which is the decision he took, which is why he decided to drop out of the race. And that's why I think Kamala Harris now endorsing that pro-Israel view is extremely significant, because that's also an indication of the kind of foreign policy stance that we can expect from a Kamala Harris or from the U.S. Democrats as far as the war in Israel between Hamas and Israel is concerned. But just to give a brief to all our viewers, yesterday we did see all those, as you said, the left protesters or pro-Hamas protesters. They had in fact burnt the U.S. flag. There was graffiti and rhetoric which has been condemned as abhorrent and should not be tolerated by the United States. Kamala Harris has gone on to condemn all those individuals who are associating with the brutal terrorist organization Hamas. Not to forget, Ayushman, yesterday itself in his speech, Netanyahu had said that, you have to discriminate between people who target terrorists and people who target civilians. So Iran's entire operation to free its hostages was very well thought out and sort of endorsed by Netanyahu. His speech was very powerful. It was very nationalist in its fervor, in its nature, and something we have. And he's also gone on to talk about how Joe Biden is an American Zionist, somebody who supports the Israeli culture, the Jews in Israel. And only understandable why Kamala Harris has endorsed that view.
Absolutely. But Kamala Harris drawing that line in the sand that she does not stand with Hamas, given the fact that Hamas has committed those atrocities in October last year against the people of Israel. This is a very emphatic statement coming in from Vice President Kamala Harris, given the fact now she's the front runner when it comes to the Democratic candidacy against Donald Trump for the US presidency, making it very clear that she stands against Hamas and with Israel in the war on terror.